This video contains subject matter that may be offensive and disturbing to some people. If you are the type to require a warning throughout a video or show, let this message serve as your warning. This channel discusses the harsh reality of true crime. If this warning is not sufficient for you, consider a different genre and unsubscribe from my channel immediately. What's going on? Blue just had a bath, so he's running around with a chicken like a chicken with his head cut off. How's it going, everybody? 8 days left in the month. Either sometime next week or the week after, we'll be heading down to Southern Oregon for a I do have my golf trip on Friday on the 4th or 5th. I can't remember what day that was. So it might all coincide. Yep. Yeah, and then there was the story that I was going to just go over it out of the newspapers again was it was one I think I saw on IDTV a while back. It's a solved one, but man, this killer, I don't know, man. I think he's makes you wonder if he killed other people too. But it's pretty interesting as well. I always like to see how it was going at the time. You all right, Blue? Oh, there he is. Get it, Blue. Get it, get it, get it, get it. Did you get it, Blue? Do it, Blue. Yeah, I like how they try to dry themselves off. I had breakfast with Mom and Dad today and my brother Andy and his wife at their parents' house. They wanted to go to like Elmer's or some shit, and I was like, wait a minute, we're not going to Elmer's with Omicron flying around, okay? Yeah, well, it's that one I do every year, the Abandoned Dunes trip. So unfortunately, I might miss a show or two. You know, that'll be the first show I've missed for like 300 days, so somehow I'll have to make up for it. Alright, well, I guess we'll get started here. I don't have any soliloquies or anything to... Well, the Blazers won tonight again. I mean, it was an absolute... It was crazy. We were up 34 points just before halftime on the road. And then we only ended up winning by 10, and they actually cut it to 4 points late, the other team. It was crazy. It's like, man, they just tried to give it all away right at the end. But we still won four wins on a 6-game road trip, and the Blazers had only won 2 wins on the road the entire season prior, which was the worst in the NBA. So what's weird is our 2, quote, best players got injured, and after they got injured, our team has played, ridiculously better. Because when you got the one player that's supposed to be really good, and they get the ball every single time down the court, they dribble, and then if they can't get a shot, they pass it to somebody else. Okay, but when they're not playing, everybody gets to touch the ball. They all feel like they're part of the team, and that's the way basketball should be played. You know, but so it's incredible. Once you get rid of the ball hogs, how much better everybody plays. Hey, welcome, Raw Olympia. Man, they must have me on some weird ass thing on YouTube. We're hardly getting anybody that even shows up anymore. But it is what it is. If it turns out where nobody's watching and we're not being able to do what we've been doing, then I'll just quit doing what I'm doing. You know, it's like 87 people. You know, pretty scary. Thank you for all of you that are here, though. Yep. All right, let me get going here. For what? All right, here we go. Thank you, Mag. Appreciate it. I like that little one. I don't know why I like that one. I don't know. I do a show, Tina. Yeah. All right. Family waits praise for teen missing in Wasilla. Wow. Thank you, Foggy Morn. Oh, you mean the other show? Yeah, that's supposed to be. It was supposed to be today, but there's too much stuff going on, so it'll probably be tomorrow sometime. Don't worry though. We'll get back to it. All right. I have my own channel too. Let's see. Thank you, Foggy Morn. Look at that one. Like dancing, a big pair dancing behind a city. And it's moving. It's like a... Actually, it's one of those... Remember those, you know those German things that you unscrew and then there's a smaller one inside of that? And then there's a smaller one inside of that one, and then a smaller one. That's what that looks like. Oh yeah, you can listen at work. Awesome. Yeah, it's weird. This newspaper article was in Sitka, which maybe that's a little bit closer to Wasilla. I don't know. I had a friend that used to live in Wasilla. Thank you, Eugenie. All right, here we go. So Amy Patrick's parents are waiting and wondering, papering the Matsu Valley area with flyers bearing her photograph and description. And I don't know how good they are at giving out information on where they live, but maybe we can find some names here and there. Because this happened over at a babysitting job. So the posters ask, please find our missing child. The 18-year-old woman vanished Sunday halfway through a house-sitting job in Wasilla. She had been tending the house on and off since April. So Amy was reported missing Monday, so that would have been on, I guess, the following day. She failed to return her mother's car as promised. So she stayed over at this house for house sitting and then was supposed to show back up to her mother's house with her car. And I think it was another daughter was supposed to be able to use that car according to the ID show. Amy was reported missing Monday when she failed to return her mother's car as promised. And when she failed to show up for work, her mother, Francine Patrick, had a hunch something awful had happened to the oldest of her 6 sons and daughters. "I got real suspicious at that point," she said Friday. Francine caught a ride to the house with some friends. When she arrived, she found the front door unlocked and everything left as though her daughter had just stepped out of the room for a minute. The upstairs lights were on and an uneaten meal was waiting, and Amy's checkbook, shoes, and work apron were on a couch. Man, that would have been really a panic moment to see that, especially a meal that wasn't even eaten. "I thought she might have been upstairs," her mother said, "but we searched and found no sign of her." Amy's high school sweetheart, Bob Marhenke, may have been the last person to talk to her before she vanished. "Thank you, Kit Kat." In the middle of a telephone conversation about 7:30 p.m. Sunday, someone knocked on the door and Amy put down the phone to answer it, Marhenke said. So her boyfriend, Bob, was talking to her on the phone, and I've actually heard of 3 or 4 cases just like this. So, Amy is talking to Bob Marhenke on the telephone, and in the middle of the telephone conversation, at about 7:30 p.m. Sunday, someone knocked on the door, and Amy put down the phone to answer it. A few minutes later, she picked up the phone again and asked him to hold a bit longer, he said. So at least he came back for a second. Then the line went dead. A follow-up call went unanswered, Marhenke said. Alaska State Troopers said they're not ruling out anything in Amy's disappearance. They dusted the house for fingerprints earlier this week, and they're continuing to comb the area for fibers, hairs, anything that might reveal the identity of Amy's visitor. The case has prompted many Wasilla residents to offer to help in the search, but Trooper was discouraging people from going to the area, fearing they might destroy evidence. "At this point, we're better off covering the area the way we're covering it," said Trooper First Sergeant Bill Tandeschi. Troopers were using dogs to search a several square mile area around the home. The case is different from the disappearance of 11-year-old Mandy Lemaire, who walked away from her Taslina home near Glen Allen earlier this month. In that case, the entire community searched for days until the girl's body was found a short distance from her home. That girl disappeared from a road, Tandeschi said. This young lady was last heard from in a house. We have a different set of circumstances. Francine Patrick said she and the other... I want to look that other one up, though, in a minute. Like at the end, we'll check that one out. It's worse... let's see. Francine Patrick said she and the other children are coping with the disappearance the best they can, waiting and praying, but it's hard. It's worse at bedtime, she said. That's when they really miss her the most. So that's when she was missing. And then I couldn't find any references in the newspaper until the 7th. And here it says the Alaska State Troopers have arrested a 21-year-old Anchorage man on charges of Anchorage man on charges he kidnapped and killed a Wasilla woman who disappeared 2 weeks ago while house sitting for friends. And it's actually a Korean person. Kyung S. Yoon was arrested and booked Sunday at the Matsu pretrial facility on kidnapping and first-degree murder charges. Troopers were providing few details about the arrest, a possible motive, and their continuing investigation into Amy Patrick's disappearance. A trooper news release Sunday was issued without the dead woman's name. Yoon, a student at the University of Alaska, Anchorage, is accused of abducting and murdering the teenager. She disappeared September 22nd while watching the home of friends near Park Highway. A police dispatcher in Palmer said Sunday her body has not been found. Patrick's father, Dale Patrick, said the arrest confirmed for his family that Amy is dead. I have assumed that she is, he said. With the murder charge, his voice trailed off. It's tough right now. Patrick said troopers expect to recover his daughter's body in the next few days. He said he asked troopers not to provide him with any details of the investigation in fears he inadvertently might release information that would hinder them in the case. Patrick's boyfriend reported her missing on September 23rd. He's the one that was on the phone. And that was Bob Marhenke said he had been talking with her the day before when she was interrupted by a knock on the door. She came back to the phone and told him to hold on. Then the line went dead. There was no answer when he called back. Patrick graduated from Wasilla High School and had planned to attend college this fall to begin studies toward an education degree and teaching credentials. That was on the October 7th. Man held in murder falls sick in jail and dies. I mean, this is absolutely crazy Looney Tune stuff going on here. An Anchorage man arrested Sunday on charges he kidnapped and killed an 18-year-old Wasilla woman died at an Anchorage hospital later in the day, officials said. Kyung S. Yoon, 21, so he's pretty young. I think this guy was going to be a serial killer. I have no doubt in my mind. Died at 6:35 p.m. at Providence Hospital, according to Alaska State Troopers. They said they suspected Yoon died after he swallowed a poison or other foreign substance. Trooper spokeswoman Janelle Hout said Monday that the autopsy of Yoon had been done, but that results wouldn't be released for about a week. She said lab tests were being performed out of state for a number of substances, but wouldn't name the substance or say how many there were. Yoon, a student at the University of Alaska Anchorage, had been arrested at 4:05 a.m. Sunday and booked into the Matsu jail on charges he abducted and killed Amy Sue Patrick, 18, of Wasilla, Alaska. Patrick disappeared September 22nd from a home. I think it was the 20th. I thought it was the 24th. From a home where she was house sitting for friends. Her boyfriend reported her missing the next day. Yoon was found to be ill Sunday when he was removed from his cell for arraignment on the charges. So he was already sick. They brought him to court. A nurse at the jail examined him before he was taken to Valley Hospital and later transferred to Anchorage. Troopers have provided few details about the arrest, a possible motive, and their continuing investigation into Amy Patrick's disappearance. A police dispatcher in Palmer said Sunday Patrick's body has not been found. Patrick's father, Dale Patrick, said the arrest confirmed for the family that Amy's dead. Here, check this thing out. While he was in court, just before he died and collapsed, look what he wrote. So what he tells the police in his story, I'm not sure if this comes out here, but that he went into the house and he put chloroform on her, knocked her out, and then took her body. I think there's a lot more information, a lot more details that he kind of left out. But in court, right before he died, look at what was on his hand right there. It says, "I lied about the ether, not chloroform, but you seemed to love it, so I said it." Isn't that weird? So that's what a serial killer does right there. I mean, that kind of a comment right there. He says, "I lied about the ether." So that means what he's saying is there wasn't any ether. She was alive. See? I mean, it's sick as hell right there, right? And here it says, Anchorage police search dump. So it turns out when the guy told his story, he said that he put the body in the woods in a certain spot. And then later they said, well, we can't find her. What are you pulling on us here? And he goes, well, actually, I actually went back on another day, and then I put her in my car, and I put her in the landfill over there. So searchers combing the Anchorage landfill for the body of a murdered 18-year-old Wasilla woman have found a pair of pants they believe were hers. The red sweatpants are believed to have been worn by Amy Sue Patrick the night she disappeared from Wasilla. As darkness fell Wednesday night, however, searchers had not located the body. So it's the Anchorage landfill. Let's see what that is. Yeah, that looks almost exactly how they had it on there. Like, he said he put her body over here, but then right across the street is the landfill here. So this is, I would say, hold on a second. And then, where was it? Wasilla. I wonder how far that is. Yeah, it's not that far. Probably a 30-mile drive, I would imagine. Let's see. The Alaska State Troopers said they believe Patrick was kidnapped on September 22nd while house sitting. Oh, it was the 22nd. At the home of friends and was later murdered. Troopers confirmed that telephone records indicate Yoon, a 21-year-old college student charged with kidnapping and killing Patrick, called the home the afternoon she vanished. We believe it was just before he went out there, said Lieutenant John Glass, supervisor. Wow, was he just checking to see if she was there? Thank you, your gypsy. Yoon was arrested early Sunday. He died after that day at an Anchorage hospital after taking what police believe was arsenic. Troopers said Wednesday that Yoon wrote 5 letters while he was in custody, one to Patrick's family apologizing for the crime. Yeah, but you don't write stuff like that on your hand if that's what you're doing. And another to a friend, William Wada. It was Wada's parents' home Patrick was watching. Oh, man. Okay, there we go. So William Wada. Let's see if we can find that. Here we go. Sorry for my squeaky computer. We'll have to get a new one. I mean, my squeaky chair. I'll have to get a new one soon. And that name isn't very common, so I would imagine it might only be the only one. Wada in Wasilla, Alaska. Or Alaska's AK. Yeah. Okay, this happened in 1991. So I can't imagine. So was it in, what's it? Apologizing for the crime and another friend, William Wada. Oh, that's his friend. Okay, that makes sense. So that would be a younger person, or not the parents that actually owned the house. So let's see. We got a William Wada here. He lived in Anchorage, so maybe maybe there was something. I don't know, man. That's a weird connection. So if he was a friend, did William Wada tell Kyun that She was going to be there? So maybe it was not the relatives right now. Maybe it was James Wada, the father. Let's see. I'll tell you here in a minute. I've tried WD-40, doesn't work. It's merely time for a new chair. Now, there's a lot of Anchorage homes here. Is Wasilla considered part of Anchorage? I doubt it is, but just curious. Alright, let's just try this. There's only one address they have here. I don't think that's the right one. Hey, thanks, Alice Patak! Thank you very much. Yeah. It's frustrating. I have a feeling that this is the person, because it's Anchorage, and that name isn't very common, and the person's 53, which would make them about 23 at the time, which has to be the right one. Thank you, Quietly Frozen. So let me do this relative thing one more time. See if we can get lucky here. Because 91 should be in here somewhere. Okay, let's try that one. Come on. Another person that might be the mother. Yeah, but she would have been 19 at the time. Chloe's doing laps. Can you hear that? Wow, 25 in the address history on this one. So Arizona, Kenai, Soldado, Anchorage, San Francisco, Simi Valley, Phoenix, Anchorage, Kenai. I wonder if that is it. No, it's a different direction. Phoenix, Maricopa. Oh, wow, God. It was a P.O. box in Wasilla. Ah, man. Brutal. But it was in there. Finally a reference to Wasilla. So maybe her last name was really... I think I know what her name was. Try this one more time. Sorry, guys. Quietly Frozen. Address history. Ding, ding, ding. Chicago, Kenai, Anchorage, Kenai, Chicago. Henderson, Anchorage, Phoenix, Henderson. Yeah, it's not in there. God darn it. Oh well. Give it a shot. Give it a whirl, as it were. Troopers said Wednesday that Yoon wrote 5 letters while he was in custody, one to Patrick's family apologizing for the crime. It was Wada's parents' home Patrick was watching. So that's so crazy. He was apologizing for the crime, and another to a friend, William Wada. It was Wada's parents' home Patrick was watching. So how did that come about that he knew that? Yoon also wrote to his mother, Chong Yoon, and 2 other people, troopers said. They declined to say who the other 2 letters were to. I wonder why they did that. Meanwhile, in a news conference Wednesday, Mrs. Yoon and Chuck Kim, president of the Korean community of Anchorage, called for an investigation into Yoon's apparent suicide. Many unanswered questions remain in the case, Kim said. An investigation into Yoon's death is underway and could be completed as early as Friday, troopers said. They continue to refuse to provide details of the apparent murder and abduction. Alright, and now we are murder suspect's letter to mom, not a confession. In a letter written to his mother on the day he died, murder suspect Kyung Yoon did not confess to killing Amy Patrick, the missing Wasilla teenager believed to have been kidnapped on September 22nd. Instead, the unsigned, undated note appears to be a letter of goodbye. Members of the Yoon family said it began, "Dear Mom, I love you." They recited the contents from memory because they were not allowed to keep a copy of what was described as 3 lines written on notebook paper. It said, "I hope you find happiness, and I can no longer see you anymore," said Maya Lee, the dead man's aunt. That's all. Right, well, I think that's sort of admitting that he's killing himself, right? I mean, and why would he be killing himself? Well, because he killed somebody else. I mean, you can put the pieces together. I'm sure it became really conspiratorial. Oh, yeah, it's all a setup, blah, blah, blah. Is that a confession? Lee asked. A confession says, "I did it. I'm sorry. The letter didn't make sense," I thought. This letter's not finished. We just don't understand. An Alaska State Trooper took a copy of the note to the Yoon's Midtown Anchorage home Thursday evening after the family repeated a previous request to see it. The trooper would not allow Chung Yoon, the suspect's mother, to keep the copy. He said she would be shown all the letters her son wrote before he allegedly committed suicide, but only after the agency internal investigation into his death is completed. He did not explain how allowing them to keep a copy of the note, sorry, there's my stomach, would have impeded the investigation, Lee said. All right, the letter makes her wonder whether any of the Alaska State Troopers who were with Yoon when he wrote the letter recognized it as a possible suicide note and could have alerted jail personnel, Lee said. Yoon allegedly smuggled a fatal dose of arsenic into the jail and killed himself. Colonel John Murphy, head of the troopers, said he would not answer any questions about the case until the investigation into Yoon's death is finished. Meanwhile, troopers and volunteers spent a third day Thursday digging and raking through tons of garbage at the Anchorage landfill, but they failed to uncover Patrick's body. Patrick, 18, was a Wasilla waitress house-sitting for family friends in a secluded subdivision near the Parks Highway. Let's see where that is. Okay, so Highway 3 here. Yeah, it's hard to know which one. Yeah, Parks Highway. Yoon, 21, was a university science student with no history of violence. See, I think he was one of those killers that always kept it held up, pent up in him, and then one day he just decided to do it. And I think he would have turned in to be a serial killer after this. There's no doubt about it. Trooper says they have a videotaped statement by Yoon in which he confessed to killing her. While in custody, he also wrote 5 letters, including the note to his mother and a longer one to Patrick's family, which they described as a confession and apology. He said he dumped Patrick's body in the landfill. After darkness, put an end to a third day of searching, 8 Eagle River mothers gathered at the garbage dump Thursday night and lit white candles in memory of the missing girl. The women who said they have teenage daughters of their own stood in a circle, shivering in the freezing cold, talking quietly. You just have to stop and do something, Barbara Crittenden said. We could do this. We could have a candlelight vigil. And then on the 14th, so the FBI had to come in. The FBI is investigating the death of Kyung S. Yoon, a college student who died in jail as a suspect in the slaying of an 18-year-old Wasilla woman. Alaska State Troopers has said Yoon committed suicide by taking arsenic. The FBI has opened preliminary inquiry into whether troopers violated Yoon's civil rights when he was arrested, questioned, and jailed, said Thomas Matthews, Assistant Special Agent in charge of the FBI's Anchorage office. The agency wants to determine if there's anything brutally or any way to cause him to put him in such distress that he took his own life. Well, yeah, he killed somebody. He doesn't want to spend the time in prison. The FBI will submit its report to the U.S. Justice Department, which will decide if a full investigation is warranted. The inquiry will not be completed for several months, Matthews said. I think we really need to find out how they treated him, said a Yoon family member who asked that her name be withheld. Trooper Colonel John Murphy said the FBI decision to investigate Yoon's death does not indicate troopers had acted improperly. I'm told it's routine anytime somebody dies in either police or corrections custody. Meanwhile, the search for the body of Amy Sue Patrick continued at the Anchorage Regional Landfill. Patrick was abducted September 22nd. While house-sitting for friends, Yoon, 21, was arrested October 5th and charged with kidnapping and killing Patrick. He died in custody the next day. Murphy said the troopers' Major Crimes Unit is investigating Yoon's death, and troopers in Palmer and the Criminal Investigation Bureau and in Anchorage are investigating Patrick's death. Chung Chuk Kim, a leader in the Anchorage Korean community, said he was encouraged by the FBI's initial inquiry. If it's true that the FBI is looking into it, it's a good indication something is not going right, Kim said. And Chloe's running around. I feel the state troopers goofed. The officers have not been honest, and their credibility is in question. Lloyd Hames, Department of Corrections Commissioner, said he welcomed the investigation. While admitting no mishandling of the case, Hames said there's always room for improvement. According to investigators, Yoon was arrested at 11:44 p.m. as he was being transported in a patrol car from Anchorage to Palmer. He was officially booked at the Matanuska. I wonder how they found out who he was, though. On Sunday and questioned by detectives. Like other inmates, Yoon was strip searched after he was booked and given a blue jail jumpsuit at 10:15 a.m. Well, he could have put it in a, in a place that you wouldn't want to be eating something, but he was moved from his cell to prepare for arraignment on murder and kidnapping charges. He complained of being ill, however, and was taken to a nearby Valley hospital. 3 hours later, Yoon was in critical condition and was taken to Providence Hospital in Anchorage. He died at 6:45. Autopsy results have not been released, but investigators said a vial found in a patrol car where Yoon was a passenger was labeled arsenious oxide. It is not known where he might have hidden the poison or when he might have taken it. So he might have taken it when he went inside of his home. And what happened this time? Oh, that idiot right there. Yeah, that's one of Greeno's fans right there. Well, I hope it's not boring for you guys. It's definitely boring for crime Crime the dipshit there, but yeah. You know, they have one of those channels that's really embarrassing, never really puts out anything accurate. That's why I'm going through the newspapers here. Let's see. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out. I'm just going over this case. Do you guys want me to continue to go over this? This is one that's solved, but let me know. Yeah, I think it's interesting myself. That's why I wanted to look it up. Okay. Yoon worked part-time in Anchorage at a chemical geological laboratory of Alaska. He analyzed soil samples, and his work was respected by others at the lab. Dale Patrick, the slain woman's father, said Yoon wrote the Patricks a half-page note confessing his guilt, but Yoon's mother characterized a note written to her as sad farewell. On Tuesday, searchers at the dump found a pair of red sweatpants identified by Patrick's mother as belonging to her daughter. Students who knew Yoon at the University of Alaska Anchorage described him as bright, witty, and a little shy. Friends said school was important to Yoon, but they said he didn't seem to feel excessive pressure to earn high grades. I wonder if working in this, Yoon worked part-time at Anchorage and at chemical and geological laboratories, if that gave him access to the arsenic. Right there. What do you think? And now the troopers are, commenting back. Contents of letters written by a murder suspect hours before he took his life. Conflicting glimpses into the killer's mind at once, revealing him to be calculating yet unclear about a motive. Alaska State Troopers released letters allegedly written by Kyung S. Yoon. Can anybody find those letters? Because I looked for them for a while and I just gave up. And once revealing him to be calculating yet unclear about a motive. Alaska State Troopers released letters allegedly written by Kyung Yoon, the 21-year-old Anchorage chemistry student, who apparently ingested a fatal dose of arsenic October 6th while in the back seat of a trooper's car. Yoon died one day after confessing his part in the death of a Wasilla woman, troopers said. In a handwritten apology to his victim's family, the killer called himself a monster, then said he wasn't sure why he killed. Yeah, well, that's exactly right. See, they are monsters. These people are freaking nuts. Okay? Yeah, why is that, Jill? Why do I give you the willies, Jill? You know what's weird? I think it's just Sunday night. They were expecting me to be covering Delphi. And I wasn't covering Delphi. And so they're like, God darn it, let me just make something up. In a handwritten apology to his victim's family, the killer called himself a monster. But another letter written about the same time and addressed to someone else says he heard his feet running in shoes deliberately purchased one to two sizes too small so they wouldn't match anything the killer had left at a friend's home. Wow. So he was trying to impress them. Now, that was you, though. Okay. Oh, this guy just has this fake account out here. Hold on. Yeah, just get rid of this clown. Yeah, so it's probably somebody that's mimicking another account. So we're just going to get rid of the... I don't know which one is which. So the real one, you'll have to come back later and tell me, but I have to get rid of all of them. So this next one was real? It's hard to say, right? All right. If you say that the second one was the real one, then I'll unblock them right now, but it's hard to say. All right. Let me think. The remains of Amy Sue Patrick, 18, of Wasilla, have not been found. So that's weird that he wrote a letter to a friend trying to be like, hey, man, I even had the, shoe size is too small, and I hurt my feet. Man, so it shows that he was really planning. I mean, this guy would have been a serial killer later. There's no doubt about it. Patrick was reported missing by her father, Dale, on September 23rd. Searchers immediately suspected foul play when the woman's boyfriend said their telephone call the night before was interrupted by the doorbell, and then the connection went dead. Patrick was abducted from a Wasilla residence where she had been house-sitting. Her disappearance stirred waves of worry in her small hometown, a suburban area which neighbors considered relatively free of violent crime. Thank you, No Place Like Home. Troopers released an exhaustive summary of their actions in the homicide-suicide investigation after being criticized last week for failing to comply or to properly advise Yoon's family of his death while in custody. The summary states Yoon died October 6th at 6:35. Look how much publicity Yoon gets. Ridiculous. In addition to releasing Yoon's farewell letters, troopers also acknowledged that at about 5:30 a.m. on October 6th, a fatigued officer had seen a white powder on the floor of his patrol car near the spot where Yoon had been sitting. According to the official chronology, the investigator had been with Yoon for at least 13 hours throughout a 4-hour interrogation and during the drive with the suspect to the place where he claimed Amy Patrick was killed. Troopers said the investigator decided to go home to rest and check the white powder later. After finding out that morning that Yoon was ill, the investigator said he checked his car and found an empty vial which was labeled arsenic. Troopers said Tuesday that bottle matched one that was missing from the private lab in Anchorage where Yoon had worked. There you go, boom. In the hours before his death, Yoon apparently wrote at least 4 letters, including an apology to Patrick's family. I regret to inform you that I am the cause of your heartache, the letter said. I apparently killed your daughter, but the reason why isn't very clear to me. What do you mean you apparently? To kill and not remember why makes me a monster. The letter continued, but don't tell the press I am a monster because I am really not. Reached at his Wasilla home Tuesday, Dale Patrick said he'd received the letter soon after it was written. He dismissed it as the rambling of a coward. The man did it, Patrick said. He realized he was in trouble, threw some smoke, and took the coward's way out. Yeah, you could say, like Zozo always says about Brian Laundrie, right? Yeah, well, there's a person going around that's making accounts, and there was like 7 of mine, but YouTube, I have a special connection now, so they're just like, getting to them a little bit quicker. German dogs to help in search for teen's body, so now they're still at the landfill. Now we're on the 21st. Alaska State Troopers searching through a garbage dump for the body of an 18-year-old woman have called off the hunt temporarily while waiting for special trained search dogs to arrive from Germany. Troopers imported expert help after a week-long search at the landfill north of Anchorage unearthed no sign of the body of Amy Sue Patrick. The woman was reported missing September 23rd, one day after she apparently was abducted. Authorities said an Anchorage man, Kyung S. Yoon, confessed in a letter to the Patrick family that he had kidnapped the woman, broken her neck, and then deposited her body at a dump. Yoon, a chemistry student, was arrested October 5th and died while in custody the following day after taking a dose of arsenic. Acting on information they say came from Yoon, authorities searched through mounds of trash at the landfill despite snow and cold that produced a ground fog when garbage was disturbed. Alright, so anyways, they were trying to get these dogs in there. Then on November 4th, what is this? Okay, so they did find her body. It didn't, for some reason, I couldn't find that in the paper. But they did find her body in the landfill. And what happened was they called off the search, but these two detectives said, well, we're going to do it without pay. And then the next day, the trooper actually found her body. I mean, it was absolutely crazy. In this mound, he really felt like they were getting closer and closer, and then they found her almost completely decomposed body in the debris there. And then, you know, the father of this child was just absolutely. He says that this one detective is the best person he's ever seen, ever known in his life. And all these detectives that worked their ass off served as the pallbearers. You know, so it was like the family of a teenager whose body was recovered from an Anchorage landfill asked Alaska State Troopers to be pallbearers Friday, and acknowledgement of the officers' dedication to the case. The troopers were among searchers who raked through debris for 13 days before the body of Amy Sue Patrick, 18, was uncovered on October 26. Searchers were undeterred when specially trained police dogs imported from Germany failed to pick up a scent. They, the troopers, did not give up, Patrick's father Dale said Friday, as the family gathered for a brief graveside service. They've done an excellent job. We felt honored to have them as pallbearers. Bishop Brian Durham of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints said the family's sorrow was tempered because Patrick's body had been found and laid to rest. Everyone can be comforted at knowing that Amy is at least in a safe resting place. Patrick was house-sitting for family friends on September 22nd when she disappeared, the apparent victim of a 21-year-old Anchorage man who eventually confessed to abducting Patrick and killing her by breaking her neck, and he'd seen done on television. Kyung S. Yoon committed suicide while in custody by ingesting arsenic after his arrest October 5th. Patrick's mother, Francine, said Friday service would help her family overcome the shock of losing a member of the family to violent crime and being thrust in the public spotlight. Isn't this crazy? It is. This guy is one of the scary types of killer. And then the FBI came up with, after their investigation, it says murder suspect rights were not violated. So Alaska State Troopers and correction office officials did not violate the civil rights of Kyung Yoon, who committed suicide while in state custody. The FBI says it routinely investigates potential civil rights violations when a prisoner dies in custody. Yoon was charged with the kidnap and murder of 18-year-old Amy Sue Patrick. Just before being taken into custody by troopers, Yoon, 21, smuggled some arsenic out of the Anchorage laboratory where he worked. He managed to swallow the poison in a trooper's patrol car and died later in his cell at the Matsu pretrial facility. He didn't die in his cell. He was like in the courthouse, and they took him to the hospital. Patrick's body was discovered October 26th at the Anchorage Regional Landfill. So is that the right one? Well, I don't know. This is a landfill. That's a building and a service. I think that's the one we've got it at is the right one right there. Let's see. Autopsy reports on Yoon and Patrick are partially completed. Thomas Matthews, the FBI special agent in charge for Alaska, said the agency report is not public and does not address the policies of the Alaska law enforcement agencies. Questions to Justice Department Civil Rights Office about the FBI report were directed to the Department of Public Affairs. Anyways, the guy, he killed himself, all right? I know everybody wants to look for something else, like the family was... and if you want to believe in conspiracy theories and stuff like that, you can go down that route and spend the rest of your life with never getting an answer. Or you can just realize that he was a monster that was just getting started in his killing days, and thankfully he screwed up on the very first one. Or we don't even know if it was his first one. There might be other murders. Alaska State Troopers closed their investigation into the death of Amy Sue Patrick after a final pathology report left open the question of whether Patrick's killer used ether to knock her unconscious. Samples sent to the National Medical Service Laboratory in Willow Grove, Pennsylvania, did not reveal the presence of chloroform or ether, but the lab did not rule out the possibility that either substance was used. Receipt of the report closed the troopers' 4-month investigation. Patrick, 18, was house sitting. We've already gone through all this. But Yoon said he lied about the ether in a letter to a friend and a message written on the palm of his hand. He died October 6th. See, that's like you're trying to, this picture right here that we showed earlier, this is what sick serial killer type people do right here. Because what you're doing here is you want to make it seem less humane what you did. You're rubbing in the fact that you killed her. Because you're trying to say, I lied about the ether, but you seem to love it, so I said it. Right? So you're saying you lied about it, and I think the real reason you're saying that you lied about it is a little bit like Jodi Arias when in the second trial, or I think let's see, in Arizona, if you have a hung jury, you actually almost have to do a full second trial for the penalty phase. I mean, it was absolutely ridiculous. And in that one, she stepped forward and said, she always said that he was unconscious and stuff, but she turned to the crowd and said, he was alive. Yeah, he was alive. It's like, you're sick. Yeah, see, that's what really sick people do. They wanted to make sure that everybody knew that he was alive when she was cutting his throat and everything. And that's what this person's doing, is he wants everyone to know that she wasn't unconscious at that point. Is anybody there? I mean, you guys aren't even typing in, man. This just feels weird. Last couple of shows here. I mean, you guys are normally talking about stuff, but it's just, this is what it feels like inside. Listen to this. think the dogs thought there was something outside. Yeah. Alright. And then we've got, there was an article that came out in December. That's her right there. And that's the guy. The killer. It's not really common that you get a Korean serial killer-like person. You know. I mean, but to be honest with you, there's serial killers. The same number of serial killers percentage-wise in all societies. It's just some don't act out on it. I mean, though, that type of personality is what I mean. Maybe I got it on the wrong setting. Hold on. Okay, I got it on live chat now. Everybody's checking in. Everybody's checking in. Alright, so I'll just do this one and then that'll be it for that. And then maybe we'll go look at that prior, let's see, the case mentioned in the first article. I want to see if that one's been solved. Amy Sue Patrick murder. Where is Yoon now? Oh, he's dead. Yeah. In September 1991, teenager Amy Sue Patrick, sudden disappearance from Wasilla, Alaska, led authorities on a desperate search for her whereabouts. Investigation IDTV, Cold-Blooded Alaska, Home Alone Chronicles, the work that went into finding Amy's killer and how persistent interrogation led to a confession. So if you're curious to know more about what happened in this case, we've got you covered, it says. This is the Sign Mahalik, I guess. How did Amy Sue Patrick die? Amy Sue Patrick was born in California. She was raised as one of 6 children in Alaska and was the oldest. Amy was described as a friendly and cheerful individual who strived to be independent. At the time, the 18-year-old was working as a hostess at a local restaurant, saving up money to attend college. Her dream was to teach children in the bush, a remote area of Alaska, for a few years and then return home. In September of 1991, Wattis had asked Amy to house sit for them. I mean, did they mention Wattis already? Why do they do that? Yeah, I mean, why would you start off with Wattis? Just not, you got to put their whole name in there. In September 1991, the Wattas, I get it. So the last name is Wada, and this is Wattis. The Wattas. Okay, I get it now. In September 1991, the Wattas had asked Amy to house sit for them. Diane Wada, was that the one I came up with? Worked with Amy's father. Let's try that again. Maybe we can finally find the... What happened, Jennifer? You alright? Oh, well, hell, that might be it, because this one actually has Wasilla on the list here. But yeah, you guys, right now we're at about 40% of a normal night. I know we don't have as many people here, but we got to keep on trucking. Diane A. Wada, and now we've got some... There was a Wasilla address in this one. Wait, that's the same one, right? That's that damn P.O. Box one again. It's interesting because they actually have her listed. That's the first address they have on there. Guess it's not there. What are you talking about? Healing bad feelings? You alright? Thank you, Delva Johnson. In September 1991, the Wadas had asked Amy to house sit for them. Diane Wada worked with Amy's father, and since she and her husband traveled regularly, they had Amy watch their house. But on September 23rd, 1991, her parents were worried when she didn't come home as scheduled. And she went there, she was on night of the 22nd. That's when the phone call from her boyfriend happened. Amy's father reported her missing soon after, and the authorities went to the Wada residence. Over there, Amy's car was still parked, but there was no sign of her. They found her belongings in the house and a half-eaten plate in the kitchen. Amy's clothes were scattered in the bedroom, but there were no signs of forced entry. It seemed like she had been a victim of foul play. Then, on October 26, 1991, Amy's decomposing remains were found in a landfill in Anchorage, Alaska. Another clone? Oh, we got another one in here? Hey, make sure that you report those Crime Dive Investigates. You got to go into the impersonation section. When you report it, you got to report them as impersonating. Okay, so at this house that she went to, her car was still in the driveway. There was half-eaten pizza, or not pizza, half-eaten food, plate of food. Then on October 26, 1991, Amy's decomposing remains were found in a landfill. The authorities looked into the days before Amy was reported missing. On September 21st, 1991, the Wada's son, William Mike Wada, thank you, Eugenie and Charisma, visited the house to pick up some of his things. At the time, William went with Yoon, a friend of... So this is going to give this explanation of how this happened. So the friend, William Wada of Yoon, let's see. So the son, William Mike Wada, visited the house. The authorities looked into the days before Amy was reported missing. On September 21st, so the day before she went over there to house sit, the Wada's son, William Mike Wada, visited the house of his parents to pick up some of his things. At the time, William went with Yoon, a friend of his, who was a chemistry student at the University of Alaska in Anchorage. Then on September 22nd, Amy's boyfriend, Bob, told the police that he was on the phone with her sometime in the evening. So I wonder if she was there on the 21st also. And he saw her. Or maybe William told Yoon here that hey, yeah, we're going to have a girl staying over your house sitting. According to Bob, thanks, Billy, Juliana, and Amber Maiden. Thank you. Appreciate it. According to Bob, someone... Ocean wave. According to Bob, someone was at Amy's door while they were on the phone. That's interesting. I mean, we already knew that, but it's just... Man, it's such a freaky thing to think about. Thank you, Tawny Lee. And Mountain Jam 71. At the time, she told him that it was William. Oh, wow. According to Bob, someone was at Amy's door while they were on the phone. At the time, she told him that it was William, assuming he was back to take some more of his things. Well, that's weird. Why would she say it was William? Maybe it was... That's crazy. So did he call there and pretend he was William to come there because she didn't know how he... Yeah, wow, that's weird. So let me just... Maybe she didn't know what William sounded like. So Kyung here called over and pretended he was William. And maybe when the door knocked, she assumed that that's who that was. I don't know. Because, I mean, he's Korean, and I don't think William is. While Bob stayed on the line for a few minutes, Amy never returned. That's weird. It says, at the time, she told him, Bob, that it was William, which is the guy that lives there. So she probably assuming he was back to take some more of his things. Okay. There you go. So the door knocked. But I wonder if that call that came in, remember the one call from Kyung? What was that him saying, hey, I got to pick up some of my stuff? And so her guard was let down. Amy never returned with the phone getting disconnected. When he tried to call back, there was no answer. The authorities then talked to William. The Wada's son told the police that he was working at the North Slope in Alaska, a long way off from Wasilla. When Kyung was questioned, he seemed to point the finger at William, claiming that he had multiple girlfriends and might have had a relationship with Amy. However, the phone record showed a call from Kyung's apartment to the Wada's resident at around an hour or so before Bob was talking to Amy. Oh, man. So he was either calling over there to check to see if she was going to be there, or he said he pretended he was William. And she was expecting William to show up and would have dropped her guard. The door knocks. Oh, yeah, it's going to be William. Yeah. So Kyung was interviewed at a chemistry lab in Anchorage where he worked. So, man, what a crazy clue that would have been. To see that a call came in, who called, and it turns out it's from Kyung. So Kyung was interviewed at a chemistry lab in Anchorage where he worked. Kyung told the police that on September 22nd, he spent some time at a gaming arcade and then went to watch TV. Yeah, apparently he knew all these details about... This is what it says on the show. I think that's what this is, kind of a recap. He spent some time at a gaming arcade and then went home to watch TV. When the police asked Kyung what he watched, he mentioned the show they knew didn't air on that day. Caught in a lie, but he also knew all the details about what the score was on the video game he played and all this stuff. And then when he goes home, he says he watched television, named the show, but they had the TV guide out, and they knew that wasn't even on. Caught in a lie, Kyung eventually confessed, stating that he subdued Amy using ether, hung up the phone, then put her in his car. Yeah, so he confessed that he subdued Amy using ether, hung up the phone, then put her in his car. Kyung then said he snapped Amy's neck and dumped her by the side of a road. Then he went home, picked up some garbage bags, and came back to put Amy's body in them. And then on the following day, Kyung picked up the body and dumped it in a landfill. So he drove out there 3 times. In Anchorage, the body was only found on October 26, 1991, after the authorities searched for, I would say, almost several weeks, not days. Kyung was then taken into custody on October. I thought that was that tot mom idiot. Kyung was then taken into custody on October 5th, 1991. However, he became sick and was taken to a hospital where authorities learned he had ingested arsenic. It was believed that Kyung picked up some arsenic at the lab before he went into the police to lead them to the first dump site. Then 21-year-old Kyung died on October 6, 1991. In a letter, Kyung had claimed that he lied about using ether, but the police surmised he used something similar because there were no signs of any struggle at the house. I wonder why... Okay, so he said he lied about that. I don't know. Let's see what it says right here under this claim. The kidnapping and murder of Amy Sue Patrick. We can never know another person's thought and motivation. Most killers have a reason to commit murder, whether for revenge, jealousy, money. They understand why they killed their victim. Yoon, though, said he did not know why he killed Amy Sue Patrick. See, that's just like the guy that I've told you about a few different times that I saw in an interview. It was another Asian guy, randomly, but he said the same thing. It was like they show this lady on a path walking by a bathroom, and then it's like a jogging path. Then you see him follow her. Then a little bit later, he comes running back, throws something in the garbage, and it seemed like it led to his arrest. And it seems like this was back in like 2017. And then when they were interviewing him, they asked him, "So why'd you do that?" And he goes, "I don't know. I just wanted to see what it felt like to kill somebody." And see, those are the scary ones right there, because they don't have any. Yeah, they have no feelings at all, empathy, anything like that, and it's totally foreign to them. And it's the serial killers that think like that develop a craft and a MO and all these things. Those are the scary ones, because they don't care at all. We can never, and then down here it says, Amy Sue Patrick. Friends and relatives describe blonde-haired, blue-eyed Amy Sue Patrick as a good girl who was quickly growing into a responsible young woman, according to her parents and her boss. Amy Sue was honest and trustworthy. She never missed work, and she always arrived on time. Amy Sue, 18, had just graduated from Wasilla High School a few months earlier, and she looked forward to attending college and majoring in education. She wanted to teach children. Her long-term plan was to work as a teacher in remote Alaska for 5 years. This is the Robin Bearfield 76 something or other. So Amy Sue had a boyfriend named Bob Markenka, and according to her friends and relatives, Amy Sue seemed happy and content. Because she was so responsible and honest, Amy Sue made the perfect house sitter. When her parents' friends, Jim and Diane Wada, left the state for a short time, they asked Amy Sue to stay at their house. The Wadas lived outside Wasilla in a secluded subdivision. Oh, there we go. Near 46.5. So the picture I remember seeing on the news, it was in like a cul-de-sac. So now we can go up to Wasilla up here. Now let's just take a stab in the dark here and like just throw it in here and see what mile marker we're at. And then we can just use the measuring tool and go, except you have to realize what direction you're heading in. So we'll find the, we'll actually find it here in a minute. Ding 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 ding. Come on. Hey, Mystic Rogue. Welcome. Or congrats for 4 months. Alright, well, let's see. Hold on, let me just start skipping around here. It's going to be on here. Just want to see where we're at. See, look at this thing. You have to look out the back window of this stupid... because this is going backwards. So the front camera was totally foggy. Come on, mile markers. Where are you? What do you think, how it works in this town, though? Do you think it gets larger to the west? Yeah, in Oregon, in some places they have them every 0.1 miles, but this looks like it might have every half. Something like that. How about we'll just check this whole straightaway right here. There's got to be one on this. We're looking for 46 and a half. Thought I almost... Wait, hold on. Was there one on that one? No, that was just the other side. Dun, 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 dun. Gotta be something on this straightaway. Look at the keeps changing up on the day and everything. They're just stitching them all together. See, that's a different one, different one, different one, different. Keep on trucking. You got 1 mile? Jeez, brutal. Well, it said 46 and a half. So you'd think that would be it, but now I'm just curious. I just want to find it so I can have it on my map. I think it'd be fun to be a Google Earth driver. Yeah, those damn trolls, they have nothing better to do. It's kind of weird. Gray Google Maps is better than Google... Oh, that person always says the same thing. And no, it's not, actually. It's better at historical view and stuff like that, but other than that, it's not. But I know people like to say that over and over and over and over and over again. Google Earth, you can... like the way you can move around and you can actually set up different tours and have it fly around to different places automatically if you want to. Man, is this every mile here or something? It's crazy. Let me just get up in the air and move down to the end there. And look. Maybe right around this corner. It's a house.
It's a house.
It's a house!
That one's better. You know what I should do is make that a sound effect that if somebody wants to play. Super. Oh wait, I see something. I see something. All right, 54 right there. Okay, so here we go. Now we have something to work with. So I'm gonna put this down here as 54. This is 54. Okay, then we're gonna go up in the air and we're gonna go about a mile in any direction. I don't really care. And then we'll know what direction we need to go from that one. So from here, measurement, ding, ding, 22. 89. 1 mile right there. So there should be another one right around in this area. I think is that it right there? Is that another one? No, it's the other, this way. Like I think I see it over there. I don't know. It's so foggy looking. Oh, there it is. 53. It was right there. So that means 54, 53. So we're going in the right direction right now. So I'm going to put 53. And now we need to go to... Oops. Well, at least I can fly to it. Oh, jeez. Oh my god. What did I just... Where did I put that pin? Okay, there's 53. There's 54. So then we need to go to 46.5. So from here, we have to go... There. And how far have we gone so far? That's 3.34. So at 53 we need to go 6.5 miles, right? That's almost it exactly right there. Well, where would the subdivision be? Maybe it's right in here somewhere. Yeah, I think it's somewhere right around in here for sure. It looked like it kind of came, so it's not far out of Wasilla. I think it was, we were just looking right in here. It looked like it was a cul-de-sac in the picture they had on the television. I didn't go to all of them, but it could be right around in here. I doubt it was over there because this is back then, so it wasn't there. I think it's definitely in this area here. We aren't going to get to know exactly. So it was right there in that area babysitting in Wasilla, and then the killer drove her all the way down back to Anchorage where he's from. So he drove up there specifically to kidnap her, kill her. I'm sure he sexually assaulted her. Almost no chance that that didn't happen. Alright, so anyways, a subdivision near the mile 46.5. And on Saturday, September 21st, the Wada's son, William, arrived at his parents' home to leave some of his belongings. Okay, so he went home on... so that was a day before I think she went over there, or at least when the phone call was made. So on the 21st, Lawalda's son, William, arrived at his parents' home to leave some of his belongings. William's friend, Yoon, a chemistry student at the University of Alaska of Anchorage, accompanied William to the house. So Amy was already there. She was house sitting. There you go. There you go. That's the thing. It wasn't a private conversation with William. Kyung was there. The pair spoke briefly to Amy Sue. So she was there. Kyung Yoon knew that she was there alone and house sitting. And then he, hatched his plan. The following night, Amy Sue was at the Walda's house talking on the phone to her boyfriend. Bob, when she heard someone, her boyfriend Bob, when she heard someone at the door. She told Bob that William had arrived, but I'm wondering why she thought that. And her boyfriend assumed she meant that William Wada had returned to his parents' house to drop off more of his things. So William assumed that. Amy Sue asked Bob to stay on the phone while she answered the door. Wow. Then a few minutes later, Amy Sue returned to the phone and asked Bob to hold on a little while longer. But at that point, she must have known it wasn't William anymore. A few minutes later, someone hung up the phone. Wow, so he's still listening and he hears this click. Man, what a freaky feeling that would have been. And disconnect. Thank you, Kathy Fried Maker. Bob attempted to call Amy Sue. He let the phone ring 13 times, but no one answered. When Amy Sue did not show up for her shift at the Country Kitchen restaurant on Monday, September 23rd, Kevin Harrington, her boss, knew something was wrong. He contacted Amy's parents, and they called her boyfriend. When Bob told her parents about the strange phone call the previous evening, they called the Alaska State Troopers. You know what's weird, though, is, I mean, not weird, but I think I would have called Amy's parents after that crazy call, you know. I would have. I mean, I would have just been like, that's creepy crap. I wouldn't just hold it to myself. I would have somebody go out and check. Sergeant Bill Tandesky assigned Amy Sue's case to investigative troopers Dallas Massey and Tom Clemens. Trooper David Churchill also assisted in the investigation. Amy Sue was not at the Walda's house when the troopers arrived, and the investigators did not believe she left the premises voluntarily. Although they saw no sign of a struggle in the house, too many things at the residence did not make sense. Amy Sue's car sat in front of the house. Did this mean she left with someone else? The investigators found Amy's purse, car keys, and wallet in the home. I mean, how many times have we heard this, right? A half-eaten meal sat on the kitchen table. Upstairs, Amy Sue's clothes littered the floor. Now, that could have just been the way she was, right? I mean, a towel lay on the floor in the bathroom. Oh, maybe they did struggle up there, and maybe he assaulted her there and then merely took her away to hide the body. A towel lay on the floor in the bathroom, and a packet of birth control pills sat on the counter. The troopers were concerned when they saw that Amy had last taken a pill on Sunday. Wow. When Massey and Clemens questioned... See, isn't that interesting, the investigative tools that you have? Like, weird things like that. You wouldn't really even think of something like that. When Massey and Clemens questioned Amy Sue's parents, they said their daughter was a neat freak and would never leave her clothes or towel on the floor. Oh, so what I said, it doesn't appear to be correct. So something was going on. She wasn't a messy person. So, I wonder if he was trying to dig through something and find something to use to get her out of there. The investigators immediately believed Amy Sue was a victim of foul play. She did not fit the profile of a young woman who would walk away from life. Someone took Amy Sue against her will. The troopers questioned Bob Markenka, Amy Sue's boyfriend, but he had a strong alibi, and they dismissed him as a suspect. William Wada. The troopers learned that the Wada's son, William, was at his parents' house on Saturday. They couldn't find William, but located his girlfriend in Anchorage. She said William was currently working at his job on the North Slope, but she didn't know what day and time he flew north to return to the slope. Massey asked the girlfriend for the names of any of Wada's friends, and she suggested they call Kyung Yoon, a Korean-American student at the University of Alaska at Anchorage. The girlfriend said he was with Wada when they went to William's parents' house on Saturday. Wow, that was a great little piece of information that she happened to know. The troopers located Yoon at his home in Midtown Anchorage, and Yoon told them that William Wada had several girlfriends and a kinky sex life. Yoon said he didn't know if William had a sexual relationship with Amy Sue, but he thought it was possible. Yoon said he accompanied William to his parents' home. Said he accompanied William to his parents' home and saw Amy Sue for just a moment. The investigators noted how nervous Yoon seemed when talking to them, but they assumed he was uncomfortable telling them about his friend's sexual exploits. The investigators began to suspect that William Wada had something to do with the disappearance of Amy Sue Patrick. Wow, this is a pretty interesting article here. So they thought maybe William had something to do with it. Amy Sue told her boyfriend over the phone that William was at the door. Right, that's right. And a short while later, someone disconnected the call. So I was wondering how he wasn't the main suspect right off the bat when they said, "Hey, William's at the door." The troopers soon dismissed Wada as a suspect, though, when they learned he left for his job on North Slope on Sunday, September 22nd, hours before Amy Sue's phone call conversation with her boyfriend. The investigators flew to the North Slope and tracked down Wada for an interview. William Wada could tell the investigators nothing about the disappearance of Amy Sue Patrick. The situation baffled him. Kyung Yoon. When they returned to Anchorage, Massey and Clemens recalled their interview with Kyung Yoon. They remember how Yoon had pointed the finger at his friend subtly, suggesting to troopers that Wada could have done something to Amy Sue. They decided to wait to approach Yoon again until they could study the phone records for the Wada's house. And what a great thing that was for, I mean, just what are the odds that he called there? What a dummy, right? According to the phone log, someone placed a call from Yoon's apartment to the Wada's residence on Sunday, September 22nd. Yoon made the call 1 hour and 10 minutes before Bob Marcana said Amy Sue put him on hold so she could answer the door. The trooper knew the travel time between Midtown Anchorage and the west side of Wasilla ranged from 50 to 60 minutes. So he called and then took off. The investigators began delving into Kyung Yoon's life, but they found little in Yoon's background to suggest he was the type of person who would kidnap and possibly kill a young woman. Yoon had attended Diamond High School in Anchorage, and his high school teachers described him as intelligent and an excellent student. Friends said he was shy until he got to know them. They said Yoon was funny and easygoing and never showed any sign of aggression. Yoon lived with his mother, and she said her son returned home on the evening of Sunday, September 22nd, at the usual time, and he acted normal. The only chink the investigators could find in Yoon's armor was a 1989 arrest for shoplifting when Yoon stole a cassette tape and a Nintendo game from Sears. The judge ordered him to stay out of trouble for 6 months and pay $200 at the end of the 6 months. Yoon, a chemistry major at the University of Alaska in Anchorage, worked part-time at the Chemical and Geological Laboratories of Alaska and Anchorage, where he analyzed soil samples. He had a bright future, but was painfully shy around women. Kyung Yoon was a lonely young man. Is he one of those insoles? Yoon's confession. Troopers Massey and Clemens knew they had little evidence tying Yoon to Amy Sue Patrick, so they decided to visit him in the chemistry lab at the university. They assured Yoon he was not under arrest and then began a friendly conversation with him. Yoon told the officers that he loved to play the game Dungeons and Dragons and he enjoyed painting fantasy figurines. The officers steered the conversation to the night of September 22nd and asked Yoon about his alibi for the time when Amy Sue Patrick vanished. Yoon said he went to an arcade at 6 o'clock and then he went home to watch television. But remember, they already know that he called over there. Massey asked Yoon what TV program he watched. When Yoon answered, Massey knew he caught Yoon in a lie. Massey said he knew the show Yoon mentioned and it wasn't on TV Sunday night. Massey quietly said, "You know, you weren't at the arcade on Sunday, right? On Sunday night." So he said to him, "You know you weren't at the arcade Sunday night." Yoon's gaze dropped to the floor, and he could no longer look Massey in the eye. Massey and Clemens turned up the heat. They said they knew he'd abducted Amy Sue Patrick. Massey told Yoon to close his eyes and tell him about his dreams and what he saw. Massey had successfully used this technique before on suspects, and it worked well with Kyun Yoon. Yoon closed his eyes, took a deep breath, and in a calm voice he said, "I pull up to the house and knock on the door. She answers and lets me in. I cover her mouth with an ether rag, and she passes out. I walk through and check the house. I find the phone is off the receiver, and I hang it up. Then I load her into the car and I drive towards Anchorage." Well, didn't the boyfriend hear anything? You know, seems like when the attack happened, something would have been heard. Yoon said he drove down Glen Highway and turned off at Pilot Road. So where's Glen Highway? This is a good article here. Has everything. I wonder if the Anchorage newspaper had better... Let's see, Glen Highway. So that's Glen Highway right there. Okay, that's Glen Highway right here too. Right? Yeah. So Glen Highway. And then the other road was... turned off at Pilot Road. Let's see where that is. I don't see that one. Pilot Road. I'm not sure where Pilot Road is. Don't see it. Maybe they changed it. Highway and turned off at Pilot Road. He drove half a mile down the road and stopped. When Massey asked him what he did next, Yoon replied, "I snapped her neck, then I dumped her on the side of the road and covered her over with brush." Yeah, this doesn't... let me just see if we go right into here. They drove down here. What's the name of this road? So that's Eagle River Loop Road. Yeah, I don't know where Pilot Road is anymore. I must have changed the name. Because this is Highway 1. And... East Eagle. I don't know if they changed that one or... Yeah, I don't see it. Interesting. Normally you can see all these things. See, the confession shocked the troopers. Let's see. Let me get up here. Where is it? Yoon closed his eyes, took a deep breath, and in a calm voice he said, "I pulled up to the clutter in the car." Yoon said he drove down Glen Highway and turned off of Pilot Road. He drove half a mile down the road and stopped. When Massey asked him what he did next, Yoon replied, "I snapped her neck, Then I dumped her on the side of the road and covered her over with brush. The confession shocked the troopers, but they had no physical evidence to back up Yoon's words. Massey asked Yoon if he would take them to Amy Sue's body, and Yoon said he would, but he asked if he could first go to his locker, and that's probably when he got his the arsenic, and put his stuff away. The officers waited while Yoon went to his locker, and then he accompanied them. Why would you wait? Why wouldn't you walk with the guy? He just admitted to killing somebody. That is kind of dumb, okay? And then he accompanied them to their cruiser. The trio drove to Pilot Road. Isn't that what I just said? Okay, hold on. No, it's Eagle. No, they just said Pilot Road again. The trio drove to Pilot Road north of Eagle River. So where's Eagle River? So it's north of Eagle River. Maybe they changed the dump site. So it's north of Eagle River, up here somewhere. Interesting. Trio drove to Pilot Road north of Eagle River off Glen Highway. Clemens stopped the vehicle at the spot Yoon indicated, but they saw no sign of a brush pile or a concealed body. Massey began to get angry and asked Yoon, "What's going on?" The three men sat in the cruiser, and Clemens turned on a tape recorder and told Yoon to tell them his story from the beginning. This time, Yoon said he originally placed Amy Sue's body at that spot. Then he drove to his home, grabbed some garbage bags, and returned. He put Amy Sue's body in the bags, covered her with brush, and drove to his apartment. The following morning, Yoon went to his scheduled class at the university and then drove to Pilot Road to retrieve Amy Sue's body. He then headed to the Anchorage City Refuse Station and dumped her body wrapped in garbage bags in a dumpster. Troopers Massey and Clemens arrested Kyung Young while he sat in the cruiser at 11:44 p.m. on Sunday, October 5th. They booked Yoon into the Matsu pretrial facility at 4:05. When they handed off Yoon to the officer at the jail, Massey said, "Put this guy on suicide watch. Really, I'm not kidding. Watch him carefully." The receiving officer said he understood. The jailer then strip searched and processed Yoon. At 10:15 on Sunday, October 6th, the guard moved Yoon from his cell to get him ready for his arraignment. I mean, it's crazy that he was strip searched and they didn't find it. That's probably why the family thinks that. Ready for his arraignment on murder and kidnapping charges, and they noted he seemed ill. A nurse examined Yoon and sent him to the nearby Valley Hospital. 3 hours later, an ambulance with lights flashing and sirens blaring sped Yoon to Providence Hospital in Anchorage. An autopsy revealed that Yoon had ingested enough arsenic to kill several men. Doctors could do nothing to save him. Yoon often used arsenic at the chemical lab where he worked. See? That's what I was thinking at the time when they mentioned. And he possibly also had access to arsenic at the university, but how did he manage to smuggle a bottle of the poisonous compound into the jail? The guard strip searched him when he entered. He might have already ingested it in the car, though. See? Investigators believe Yoon removed a small vial of arsenic oxide from his locker at the university when he asked troopers if he could put his books in the locker before showing them where he killed Amy Sue Patrick. He then hid the vial inside his sock, down in his shoe, so the officers would not find it during a weapons search. They think he ingested some of the arsenic while riding with the troopers. He then poured the rest in his sock and took it while waiting in the corrections room. When the troopers learned of Yoon's condition, one of them quickly checked the vehicle Clemens and Massey had used to transport Yoon to the jail. On the floor of the cruiser, he found a small empty vial and a white powder on the floor mat. Yoon's death was a heavy blow to the troopers because now he could not help them locate Amy Sue's body in the landfill. Trooper Tom Clemens, troopers, volunteers, and National Guardsmen searched for Amy Sue's body for 3 long weeks, spending nearly 16 hours a day sifting through the garbage. The refuge manager informed the troopers that a dead horse and elephant dung from the zoo were dumped at nearly the same time Yoon said he dumped Amy Sue's body. If they could find the horse or the manure, Amy Sue's remains could be in the same area of the refuge pile. Thanks, Janai Sotai. After a week of searching the dump, the troopers requested the assistance of dogs and dog handlers from Germany. That didn't work. Investigators were about to call off the search at the refuse center when they found the horse's body that was dumped around the same time Yoon brought Amy Sue to the dump. They decided to search one more day, and on Saturday, October 26, a backhoe unearthed a plastic bag with a woman's leg protruding from it. Questions. Why did Kyung Yoon, a brilliant young man, confess so readily to Massey and Clemens? He knew the troopers didn't have a body, nor any physical evidence. Yep, that's kind of odd. I think that phone call and that his friend, it just seemed pretty obvious. Yet it took little prodding from Massey before the story of his crime spilled from his mouth. Well, I think it's also because he's really young, Yoon's suicide left many questions unanswered. In his confession, Yoon said he used ether to subdue Amy Sue, but in a letter he left for a friend, he said he lied to the troopers. Troopers believe Yoon used other or similar chemicals to gain control of Amy Sue. Yoon also said he murdered Amy on the spur of the moment. He claimed he planned to burglarize the Wada's house, and he killed Amy Sue because, no you don't, because you called her earlier. There was nothing taken from the house, and Yoon knew Amy Sue was at the home because he placed the phone call, from his home in Anchorage to the Wada's residence. He stayed on the phone just long enough to hear Amy Sue answer. The big question left unanswered by Yoon's death was, why did Kyung Yoon go to his friend's house and kidnap and murder a woman he'd only met briefly on one previous occasion? Yoon said he did not abduct Amy Sue to have sex with her, but the investigators who questioned him did not believe him. They said Yoon was very shy around women and incapable of forming intimate relationships. His pal William Wada bragged about his sexual conquest to Yoon, and Yoon must have found it challenging to listen to his friend's exploits. The troopers believe Yoon fixated on Amy Sue when he met her the previous day, and he decided he would have her at any cost. The medical examiner could not determine if Yoon sexually assaulted Amy Sue because her body had decomposed by the time of the autopsy. After an internal investigation into Yoon's suicide, while in custody, investigators cleared Massey and Clemens. Yeah, that's crazy, huh? Wow. Anyways, that's all I got. But doesn't that just show you how random? This one here is very similar to the one Sheila Wysocki, her case that she helped solve a long time ago. Her friend was on college, and she was talking to her boyfriend, and then somebody showed up while the boyfriend was on the phone with her and attacked her. And then the boyfriend goes over there, and he became the main suspect, just like this case, for a long time, for years and years and years. But it turns out that it was a serial killer, and he actually got arrested for it. But it had nothing to do with the boyfriend. That's an interesting story, too. That's also on IDTV, Sheila Wysocki's one. Yeah, I thought you guys might be interested in that, even though it was solved. It was just, just sort of hearing how it all goes played out in the newspapers and various articles and things like that. I know there wasn't a lot of mapping stuff going on, but they didn't really give out a lot of specific information. Yeah, it's pretty weird. Dead horse and elephant poo. Yeah. Alright, anyways, I gotta go use the restrooms. But right now we're about, I don't know, 60% of the nightly goal. I know we only got 212 people, but it is what it is. Alright, I'm gonna be back here in a second. I gotta use the restroom. There we go. Well, I guess it's Apple time then, guys. Even though there's absolutely nothing. There's no dogs. But just for the fun of... Oh, whatever. What happened? Hey, thanks, Paulette Leonard, 1954. Oh, it's your birthday? Oh, well, there we go.
It's my birthday today.
Hey, Mary Lou, are you around?
Yes, Gray, I'm around, yes.
Well, don't act so bored, you know. That's pretty crazy. By the way, what's going on over there? Oh, right there, okay. Wait, but check it out. It's Paulette Leonard's birthday.
Oh, Paulette, yeah, cool. Are you going to sing it for her? Because I'm not.
What? Did you hear that? Mary Lou said she wasn't going to sing happy birthday to Paulette.
Well, yes, you will, Gray. I'm going to sing it.
Wait, what do you mean, yes, you will, Gray? I'm right here. And then you said you're going to sing it. You sound like you're... Are you drunk, Mary Lou?
No, I'm not drunk at all. I'll sing it, okay? Jade.
Okay, I want you to sing it right now, though, okay? You're just stalling. You sound like you're like a diva trying to get everybody pumped up. Just do it, okay?
Okay, great. Yay. Happy birthday to Paul and Leonard. Happy birthday to Paul and Leonard. Happy birthday, dear Paul and Leonard. Happy birthday to you.
Packing down those cigarettes yet again, right, Mary Lou?
Yes, Graham, just had a couple of those low-cal cigarettes you told me to buy.
I never told you to buy a damn thing. I've joked around about low-cal cigarettes. Aren't they all pretty much low-calorie?
Oh, yeah, good point. All right, ever see you later.
Well, thanks, Mary Lou. Wow. What a flaky person. But, yes, happy birthday, Paulette Leonard. Let's see. Tell you what, we'll do the apple, and then after we do the apple, we'll do a. What we'll do is we'll check out after we get through the apple, since there's nothing, there's no light at the end of the tunnel. It's just an apple. Then we'll do that case that was mentioned. We'll see if there's anything to that, and then after that, we'll do an hour of newspapers.com with super chats. All right, so you send in a super chat, and then you pick out a newspapers.com quote that might actually show up in an article this time. Okay, not the ones that you guys type in. Like, okay, I got one. A guy wearing a thimble on the top of his head that falls over a railing and then cracks his head on a rock in an ocean. Yeah, that has no chance of being in newspapers.com. What you should do, though, is think of a story that might be out there, and then just a phrase in that would lead directly to a random case, not one that you've heard of. You know, not, hey, what about basements? I mean, a basement with bodies in it. Well, yeah, we all know that one. So there you go, everybody. That's when we'll get started on it. And I do have a really good, look at that. That one almost, again, this one actually probably is even closer match if I was to turn it about like that. And here we go. Let me see if the sound. Oh wait, there goes the stem. Okay, the stem's off. It's ready to be eaten. I might put some of your guys' faces, maybe moderators' faces that go into that jar there. Well, there you go. There's part of the apple. I don't know why. Somehow the audio from the Apple thing doesn't seem to... Oh yeah, it's weird. It should play, but it's not. Or maybe I need to say monitor like that. Monitor and output. Can you guys hear it when the apple bites? I can't hear anything. Maybe it does now. Maybe it works now. Hold on. Thanks, Amber Maiden. Now we're going to really struggle getting to the newspapers.com segment. We can't even get through a bite, hardly. Oh, you could hear it? Oh, weird. Okay, now I think I can hear it if I did it again. Oh man, well there's a couple bites right there. Here we go. We'll do 3 bites, 4 bites right here. Oh, there we go. So now I can hear it. There it is. There we go. Boom. Is that a hamburger? What the hell is that thing? Thank you, Mag and Quietly Frozen. Maybe since the dogs left the room. I guess we could. I mean, we've never not made it through the apple. Okay. That's sad. I mean, what we're doing over here, we do the shows every night. But part of the show is raising the funds so that we can keep doing what we've always done. And, you know, you support my channel at the same time. Yeah. I'm just going to sit here and stare at this apple then. Over and over and over again. Yes, everybody needs a bite. Yeah, there's one. There you go. Paulette Leonard. It's a pretty big bite there. Whoop. Kathy Fredmaker, chomp. Here we go. Two more bites, everybody. Come on. You're like the kids at the table where you got to get those last 2 bites of the greeneries in. Hey, Blue. What's going on, Blue? You around? No, one of the dogs ran into the room and jumped up on the bed and was watching television. That's what happened. And then Blue, I think, ran into his crate and is just sleeping. Probably so happy to have a moment to relax without Chloe running around. Yeah, it's great, Greg, but the apple's just sitting there on the screen. There we go. Carly Therese, here we go. And one more to go. Here, hold on. Let me see if I can get... There he is. Will he stay there? We just don't know. Oh, that was it. That was the final one, right? Here we go. There we go. There's Blue wrapped up in his little towel. He made it back. He made it back. Unbelievable. Susanna MacGillipadrig. Look at, he just collapsed right there. He's like, oh, I am tired. He liked being wrapped up in that. We bought him one of those heavy blankets for the storms, because he freaks out when there's a storm or anything like that. Anyways, thank you guys very much for, doing the Apple game to help raise the funds for the channel and the charities. We've got, we've already donated $1,000 this month to charities, and I'm hoping to do another, $2,000 to $2,500 at the end of the month. Try to keep up that pace throughout the year. We could probably get to, our goal right now is, I'll say for the year, last year the goal was 30,000, but we did 42. So this year we'll make it 36,000, and that will actually get us to $100,000 that, because of the generosity of all the freaks, that we've been able to donate to charities. Pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. Look at Blue. Yeah, see how he's just sitting there? I don't know. It seems like it kind of helps. And there's this heavy blanket thing that we got him. But look at him. As soon as I wrapped him up in that, he was like, okay, I'm good. There we go. All right, so what we're going to do now is, let me go to that very first article that we looked at. And then there was one, somebody mentioned right here. Wait, what was the name of the, hold on. Now, so he's on here. I have to. There's Blue. I'm going to be bummed out when Blue passes away at some point. He's awesome. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to go to this other story. Let's just see what happened in that one. The case is different from the disappearance of 11-year-old Mandy Lemaire. So let's just see what happened. Mandy, and then Lemaire. Okay, so there was an arrest in that one. Murder of Mandy Lemaire and conviction of Charles Smithert examined on cold case, Blooded, Alaska. So same deal, but look at it, it was right around the same time, 1991. 11-year-old Mandy Lemaire was walking near a highway towards her friend's house when she disappeared near her Taslina home, prompting a frantic search from friends, family, and authorities. Sadly, her remains were discovered 10 days later in a secluded wooded area. She had been raped and shot twice in the head. Her body was partially nude, and her limbs had been bruised and showed signs that she had been tied up. The focus of the investigation quickly turned to a local retired pipeline worker, 61-year-old Charles Smittert. Oh yeah, let me get rid of the bobblehead. Smittert's cousin, Tanya Nutter, later told the cops that she had seen his truck a couple of hours later, not far from where Mandy's remains had been discovered. So that's another episode that made it onto the show. So here we go. We're going to do the newspapers.com super chat. All right, but this time, come up with something that actually has a possibility of being written in an article. Let's see, somebody crowbar up nostril with hanging from a tree limb. Well, yeah, that's probably not going to be there. Yeah, it's okay. I don't want people to support the channel if it's going to affect their life and their being able to buy food or something. You know, if you feel like you want to help out, and it's awesome. I mean, the channel memberships also is part of the same thing. So it's revenue from the super chats, the channel membership, and ad revenue. It's the entire income from YouTube is what I donate over 50% of the net income. Because I have to pay taxes too. So yeah. See, nobody types in My Fox Baby Cakes. Plus, it's not a super chat. Nobody types in murder with clothes dryer. Okay, you'd never read that in a sentence. In an article. So think about how it would be worded in a sentence in an article and come up with that one. Yeah, I can do Mag since she sent in super chats already on the Apple. So let's see, we've got bodies found in cave. I mean, that's going to be pretty. There's going to be a lot of those. Here's one, 1955. Wife feeds husband to prized hogs. We'll look at that one in a minute. Remains of body found in cave. A decomposed body found in Mammoth Cave National Park was identified early Friday as that of Louis A. Finn, 60, a missing Chicago chemist. Positive identification was made by Dr. Max something or other. Thomas G. Gearley, special agent in charge of the FBI Louisville office, said no additional charges have been placed as yet against two hitchhikers held in connection with the case. The body was found Thursday by the FBI agent and two local authorities following directions of two suspects in the case. LaFond was being... Okay, so sounds like that was going to be a murder. This is one in 1961. Bodies found... See, here's what I don't want people to do. Think of a case that you're interested in and try to get me to find that one. Okay? Don't do that one. Two young cave explorers were found drowned early Wednesday in a dead-end depth. Okay, so that's accident. 16 are killed in mine blast. That's not a cave. Well, it could be, I guess.
Found in boat.
Well, there you go. We found one. I think the first one was probably a murder. All right, so I'm just going to copy your words that you type in. So this one says, wife feeds husband to his prized pigs. I'm not even putting a location or date. If that even shows up at all. No. Why does it have to be prized hogs, though? You know, like, let's see, wife feeds husband. How about wife disposes of body with farm hogs? How about farm hogs eat human eat husband? Farm. Oh, this is crazy. Is farm hogs? Oh, prized hogs. Yeah. How about we don't have to say farm hogs, just hogs eat husband. Husband's hogs eat. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see anything. I gave it a shot. I gave it a whirl, as it were. Body found in boat. There we go. There can be a million of those, I would imagine. Let's see what this one is. 1930. Mystery and death is noted. Let's see. I talked to Cairo's. Hasn't been feeling well, so if everybody wants to put out some positive thoughts for him, I thought of it right there because it says Cairo, Egypt here. Let me find a more recent one. How about the 2003? Body found on boat identified as that of owner. A body found on a boat that washed ashore was identified Thursday as the vessel's owner, who had been missing along with two others since last month when they failed to return from a fishing trip. The body was identified as that of Gary Lisk. Look at blue up there. You see that? Of Naples. Officials think the boat washed ashore sometime last Sunday. Looks like that was probably an accident there. Firefighter's body found. Boat capsized. Well, I think there's a million bodies found on a boat. Just a friend. All right, so now we're at Susanna McGilla Padraig. Smothers using feather duster. Okay, so I'll word it the way an article might have done it. It might be smothered with a feather duster. And how would that actually work, by the way? How would that actually work? Smothered by a feather duster. Yeah, he hasn't been feeling good for like 2 weeks, but he hasn't tested positive for COVID or anything, which is weird. I think almost everybody's going to catch this Omicron one. What's this? Oh, 1907. In dust here lurks the deadly, and a woman who wraps her head in a handkerchief or cap, arms herself with a feather duster, and proceeds to whisk it airily over ornaments and pictures. Okay, it's different. I thought we might have been onto something there. You know, we should try it. Let's find something crazy like in 1800s or something. All right. So let's do like 1800 to 1895, and then some wild story that might have taken place. What do you think? Yeah, but Omicron isn't dangerous anywhere near as deadly as Delta was. So this is what normally happens: is that a weaker form of a virus will come around and everybody catches it, but it creates sort of a herd immunity, and then it sort of starts fading away. Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of bodies found in a well back in cowboy time. But plus, this is a super chat question show. Yeah, this is how we're. Okay, you're gonna do bodies found in a well. Okay, well, we'll give it a shot, but I bet there's a lot of bodies found in a well in 18.
Well,
Yeah, here's one. 1919. Even though I didn't say 1919, I said. No, or did it? I did, didn't I? Though, hold on. No, I said 1985. Well, let's just go with that since we found it. A body found in a well here last night was identified today as that of Charles William Wyke of New York City, a former professor in Columbia University. Professor Welk had been in a sanitarium for treatment for a condition brought on by overwork. Jeez. He eluded the attendants Tuesday morning and stayed at the home of F.M. Wheeler Tuesday and yesterday. He then disappeared, leaving a note of thanks for courtesies shown and the words, "in the well." Wow. So he actually wrote a note telling them he's going to go kill himself, but thanks for the last night, basically. This is supposed to be 18. That was an interesting one there, Kit Kat. You actually, you always come up with these weird ones that work. Although that one, I wouldn't be shocked that there was something. Let's see what this one is. Body found in a well. A girl arrested. Look at this thing. Apparently, back in the 1800s, nobody had anything to do in life, because if you could read this page in a day, you're a speed reader. I mean, look at this thing right here. Look at this thing. I mean, it's absolutely incredible how much writing made it into these articles back then. Can you see that? Wow. Unreal. Now, this is 1888. Body found in a well. A missing man's body found in a well. John Smith. This is 1888. Painter was found in a boxcar at 56th Street and the Fort Wayne track Saturday. When found, he was nearer dead than alive. That doesn't say well in it. Alright, I'm going to move on to another one. Body found in a well. The next one is persons murdered using clothes wringer. But that's not how the article... See, listen, everybody. Write the phrasing how the article would word something. They wouldn't say, hey, there were person murdered using clothes wringer. So you might say something like, let's see, this is like Jeopardy, right? Like you gotta, let's see, person murdered using clothes wringer. So maybe it'd be something like, I'm not even sure what a clothes wringer is, but, oh, I know what those are, yeah. So it'd be like, just all you need is leave out the word person, and then say murdered, and then you could even put clothes wringer, I'm sure, and that might even work. So there you go. Oh, well, this is 1864 here. Let me take off the date thing here. 1960 to 2000. Actually, 1940, when people might have still been using shit like that. No? How about 1900? Clothes wringer of the best makes of high price. Well, there's a, look at that. Look how funny this is, you guys. 1914, look at that ad. You get a little ad with this little crazy clothes wringer in the newspaper in Frederick, Maryland.
Murdered with skillet. Pastime of
That's
course.
pretty funny, right? Yeah, I don't see any murders by clothes wringer, but not a bad thought. Not a bad thought. And this one is bodies found in outhouse. Yeah, there we go. Bodies found in outhouse. Boy stolen and murdered. Body found in outhouse at rear of parents' home. Kingston, New York, August 24th, 1910. Let's see. Has been found. Let's see, August 24th. No trace has been found tonight of the kidnapper and murder of Peter Fabian, 4 years old, a son of Frank Fabian, an Italian. The boy's body was found today in an outhouse at the rear of the home, cut and strangled. Oh man. He had been dead but a short time, although missing since last Friday. Detectives are interested in the coincidence that an Italian clairvoyant whom Fabian consulted in New York City on Tuesday, when he first became alarmed, foretold that the boy would be found near his home. An Italian detective is assisting the authorities in attempting to clear up the case. Murder. Okay, so Peter Fabian. This is in Pennsylvania, 1910. Boy slashed to ribbons, it says. Wow. Peter Fabian, his body slashed to ribbons, was found yesterday in an outbuilding near his home. Little Peter was kidnapped a week ago. His abductor is believed to be being men with whom the elder Fabian had had trouble. Believing the child would be returned in a few days, Fabian did not become alarmed until Tuesday when he went to New York and consulted a fortune teller. The latter, according to his story, told Fabian that he would find his boy near his home, but he did not know. Man, the psychics were already at work back then, huh? Fabian returned and restituted a thorough search, resulting in the gruesome discovery the building had been searched before, which indicates that the kidnapper, alarmed at the interest that had been aroused in the case, slipped the child into the building. And there, wow, I bet it was him. I bet it was this the adult Fabian here. He probably pretended he consulted a psychic and said, "Oh yeah, it's going to be found near the home." So he put the body that he had hidden somewhere into the well and made it look like, oh man, that's ridiculous. Let's see what the result. I gotta find now. I gotta get what happened on this. August 25th, 1910. Is this? August 1910. 25th. So it's all the 25th. Okay, there's 26. Kidnapper believes seer killed child. No, I think you killed your child. And you pretended a seer saw the body and put it back in there. Yeah, that's... Yeah, this is the 27th now. No trace has been found of the kidnapper and murder of Peter Fabian, 4-year-old son Frank Fabian. Detectives are interested in the coincidence. Yeah, well, it's not a coincidence, but you guys are... Alright, what you gotta... It's up here, so... 29th? I don't know what that is. 30th. No. September. It's just, they keep selling that stupid product. The heartless murder of a 4-year-old Cruz and his wife were arrested this afternoon in connection. So here it says, Vincenzo Cruz and his wife were arrested this afternoon in connection with the heartless murder of 4-year-old Peter Fabian. So it's not the dad. But it seems, yeah, whose body was, let's see how it keeps playing out. Whose body from which life had been strangled by powerful hands was found in an outbuilding of its parents' home in Portsville last Wednesday. The child had been missing several days, and it was believed kidnappers were holding him. In ordering the arrest, District Attorney Cunningham refused to say what evidence he possessed. Alright, so we're now on September 3rd, and let's see what we got. Yeah, there's another one. September 5th. Vince and his wife were arrested this afternoon in connection. Alright. I hope you don't mind. Now I gotta play this one out till the end. I gotta... It just so happens there's a stupid ad that shows up every day. If that wasn't there, it'd be a lot easier. And let me go back to here. What are these names again? Four-year-old Frank, an Italian, disappeared. Friday, hundreds of Italians searched for the boy. The father went to New York Sunday and consulted a fortune teller, and when he returned Monday night, the father said that the fortune teller had told him that the boy would return within 3 days. The opinion now prevails that the boy was kidnapped, and when the kidnapper learned of what the fortune teller had told the father, he killed the child and placed the body where it was found. Well, why would they do that though, when they could just... Okay, I'm going to look up this other name. Okay, Vincenzo Cruz, C-R-A-U-Z. So I can put that right there. Okay, and take that. Alright, so now this might work. September 3rd. October. So that was it then? How about 1910? August 1910. Yeah, now it doesn't even show up at all. It's weird how it does that sometimes. I have no idea why or... No, there he is right there. That's the only time the name was mentioned. So it's almost like they just... How about 1911? Were they arrested, and was there ever a trial or anything? 1912 to 1930. Oh, what a load of crap. Well, that was a rabbit hole right there, wasn't it? 1911. 1910. There he is, and it was for Peter Fabian. Yep, yeah, nothing in there. That was September 5th. This is when they started talking about other people, right? Yeah. Strangled child. Vincenzo Crazzo and his wife were arrested. Alright, let me just do one final one. So 1911 to 1940. Dr. Paul, the son of Mr. And it's a different Fabian. Oh, let's see what this is. Come on. The grand jury, acting upon information sent to it by Justice of St. Clair, indicted Peter Fabian. Well, Peter Fabian wasn't alive, okay? So, anyways, all right, forget it. I'm on to something else. I don't think he's in there anymore. It just kind of faded away. I guess the kid just didn't matter. We got feather duster, body found in well, person murdered using clothes wringer. Then we had bodies found in outhouse, and the next one is murdered with skillet. Don Lake of Douglas murdered at Sioux. Alright, let's see what this says. Gasoline stove in the foot of a murdered man, a skillet of an uncooked meat, and a... that wasn't it. Murdered... How about murdered with iron skillet? Now there you go. Maybe that's one. What about a young mother, Beth, who was murdered, hit with an iron skillet, stabbed 17 times, and wrapped in duct tape on her 31st birthday? A 10-year-old boy watched his father shot dead, then ran for his life, was stabbed 25 times, and shot in his mouth. Isn't that inhumane? Ah, jeez. Yeah, the death penalty is not inhumane for specific people. Okay. Oh, there you go. Let's do that one. Cast iron, right? Well, you found one. No, I can't find any more of it. What does this say? The old cast iron skillet still essential for your murdering needs. No, it doesn't say that. It's very inexpensive. I can get your source of iron. Now I gotta go. I think there was one Billy Juliana had. The mayor. Body found in an abandoned rowboat. But when you say I think, I stink at this. Oh. Stink. I don't know. Body found in... Okay. Like, well, how would the article be worded? Wow, they found Chuck's body. It was found... I would just say found. Yeah, that may be good. Like you probably have body found... That's probably right. Found in... That might work this time. Body found in abandoned rowboat. You know, like the one in Shawshank Redemption. 1823. Nellie Schmidler, former proprietor of the Roll Inn, pleaded not guilty to Section 1646 of the Penal Law when arraigned. Blah, blah, blah. Nellie Schmidler is the mother of Roy Schmidler, whose body was found in an abandoned rowboat on the Niagara River about 2 years ago. Well, there you go. There's one. Body was found curled up on stairwell landing. Yeah. Well, you had one. It showed up as a result. Let's see if there's a better way to say. Body found in... Let's see. An abandoned boat, maybe. Was body found near abandoned boathouse. What's that one? The body of 10-year-old Eastside Detroit boy missing 8 days was found Sunday in the Detroit River near abandoned boathouse where 2 young brothers drowned last week. Oh, look at that. Oh, it's police say it said a woman was walking alongside a canal near the Grey Haven Marina at the foot of Kitchener when they spotted the body of Carnell Jenkins who was a 4th grader at Nicholas Elementary School. The body was floating in 10 feet of water. Police divers had been searching the water near the spot since May 10th, when 2 other children, Anthony Smith, 9, and his mother, Patrick, 8, disappeared. The bodies of Smith's brothers were found Wednesday in 12 feet of water inside the crumbling boathouse. The boathouse at the foot of Lenox is a few feet from the canal. I don't know if this, let's see. The crumbling boathouse was once part of a 3-mansion estate. Police said all 3 boys had been playing, so they drowned. That sucks. This is a 1982 article. And that's it. We went through all of them. It's the only, it's the ones with the super chats. And if you had donated during the Apple, if you wanted to. Yeah, they don't word it like that, but let's see, I'll try that one. I bet you if you just say body found in sealed beer barrel. And I don't even know if you have to say sealed, right? Body found in beer barrel. Say, like that. And that has a better chance. Oh, there you go. Body found in root beer barrel. Identified. So I'll take your sentence and see if it shows up. It might. You never know, man. Unless because you might have copied it from it exactly. No. Man's body found in beer barrel. See. Man's body found in a barrel marked, and this is 1910 again, ironically. Elderly unidentified man was found in the storerooms of the Canada Cold Storage Company here by John Morant, a claim clerk of the Grand Trunk Railway. The barrel was consigned to J. something Bishop. It was, man, I can't even read half of that. He was held under protective custody. Was located, but he said he knew nothing about the barrel. There we go. This is one. 1934, slain man's body found in barrel. Evidence indicating that a man whose nude body was found crammed in a barrel in Cincinnati. They used to use words that were sort of, like nowadays would be kind of crude, you know. A man whose nude body was found crammed in a barrel in Cincinnati was Alvin Brunner, a jewelry auctioneer of Brooklyn, New York, and that he was slain in the rear of a Columbus jewelry store was uncovered by detectives today. Disclosing new clues in the crime, Detectives Chief Eugene Ebright said, "We found that a gun was missing from the store. We found a blood spot in the rear of the store, and we determined that a barrel was missing from a bakery nearby. It probably was a barrel in which the man's body was found at Cincinnati. We are satisfied by the but naturally not definitely sure that the killing took place here. We are reasonably sure of the identification of the body as that of Brunner. The identification," Ebright said, "was established from little articles found in the barrel." One of those was a pillow slip, and there was a piece of package wrapping ribbon bearing the name of the jewelry store. We learned that Brunner, if it was his body, had planned to hold a sale at the store, which is in the hands of a receiver, and that I don't even know what they're saying here. Key to the store. The body was found at Cincinnati shortly after midnight last night, unclothed. It had been stuffed into a barrel, which was found in a garage in the basement of a home. God, a lot of bodies stuffed in barrels here. Man. Whew. I guess 1910s when you would stuff people in barrels. What are you doing today? Well, I'm stuffing. Why are you doing that? Well, it's 1910. Yeah. I mean, it's like, look at all these. 1934, I guess. Look at all these, though. Yeah. $19.10. There's another 1933. In this one, the man's skull was crushed. The body found floating nearby was that of a man about 50 years old and had been in the water for several months. The victims were removed today from the Chicago drainage canal. One body encased in an airtight barrel. There you go, sealed barrel. Was that of a man about 45 years old. His skull was crushed. The other body found floating nearby was that of a man about 50 years old and had been in the water for several months. Crazy times. Well, I don't really have much more to do, you guys. Yeah, I guess that's what you would do back then. It seemed like during the like Prohibition and stuff like that, there was like stuff like that would happen. Any last requests? Anybody? That ruined root beer for you for life, huh? Yes, I was thinking of, yeah. Alright, guys. Well, thank you for being here tonight and supporting the channel. Really appreciate it. Hit that like button on the way out the door if you would. And thank you for Raw Olympia for becoming a channel member. Welcome. Thank you to Mag, Foggy Morn, Cat Eye, Eugenie, Kit Kat, Your Gypsy, Alice Patak, Quietly Frozen, No Place Like Home, Delva Johnson, Eugenie, Charisma, The Mayor, Billy Juliana, Amber Maiden, Tawny Lee, Mountain Jam 71, Paul Hallett, Kathy Freidenmaker, Janai Sotai, Paulette Leonard, Amber Maiden, Mag, Quietly Frozen, Paulette Leonard, Kathy Freidenmaker, Carly Therese, Anthony B, Susanna, Mac, Gilla, Padre, No Place Like Home, Just a Friend, Susanna Mac Gilla Padre. Oh, yeah, no, that didn't work with the feather duster, by the way. And then Kit Kat, Eugenie, No Place Like Home, Just a Friend, Billy Juliana, and Eugenie. So hopefully I got all your super chatted newspapers.com searches. Anyways, thank you guys for being here. Hope you guys thought the Alaska story was interesting, and you know, some of the random stuff you find on newspapers.com. There's really like hundreds of thousands of cases out there. You know, it's pretty bizarre when you think about it. And I think there's some of the most interesting stories are not in the current time frame. They're back in the day, you know, way a long time ago. I don't have time to read the 1800 articles, but the ones from like 1940 on, maybe. I mean, there was like 80,000 words a page on those, you know. So thank you guys very much. Thank you to all the mods out there that are catching the whack job trolls that show up every single night, you know. And yeah, so we'll see you guys tomorrow on a Monday. I think tomorrow I'm supposed to talk to somebody at CrimeCon, and we might be doing another episode on So Mean for the Crystal Rogers case, and then I'll be back on in the evening to do the show. All right, so we'll see you guys tomorrow, and as I always say, everybody, until next time, be safe out there. And a 2 and a 3 and
a 4 and a 5 and a 6 and a 7.
A while now.
yeah.
And during this whole
that's what I
time,
said.
I have
Thank
not
you.
seen one person.
No, you said 1, 2 and a 3.
Yeah, I know, but that
Crime
never mind.
dissector, flag rejector. I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya on a stretcher if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar. Professor Greg is gonna give another lecture. Crime collector,
Freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a puppet detector. Flector, scepter, and I'm a gun specter with a vector.
on his
Vector,
with all
whack
respect.
job,
Just remember, I've a
finger,
fucking
jack job,
I have no
tender.
agenda,
I'm a bartender,
and I'll serve it to you straight without the
blender,
And in the end,
Tender.
I'm gonna send you
Tender.
on a mission to reveal the true offender. Yeah, so we'll get right
Alright.
back to work.
Thanks everybody! Yay! Yay!
What are you talking about? You were a no-show early. Now you got all this enthusiasm?
Well gosh, Gray, I was just trying to be enthusiastic. Gee!
All right, everybody. See you guys tomorrow. Be safe out there.